Charger here. Can you explain that again?
This is, a turbo installed on the engine, so you have
your dog.
Yeah, she's got her crunchy cat. Your air gets pulled in from your air filter into the compressor, compressed, runs through the charge air cooler to cool it back
cool
off.
down. That's what you're saying. It's hot.
Yep, hot
but
from
then, But then it's kind of like this will make it expand more. When
and then it enters the engine.
Or expand more, so get dense air.
So that's what you would pick up with the airplane would be, your air density at 5,000 feet is way less than it would be at 2,000 feet or at sea level even. So instead of actually pushing
well, 12 or 13,000. It seems that it can't go much higher. It just runs out of the ability to climb.
There's no air to put with the fuel. You got to lean the mixture out so much to get it to even run up that high. You have no power to continue to climb.
So. Oh, right. You got to lean it out. Yeah, you're right about that.
So what this does is the turbocharger would then compensate by pushing more volume of air into the engine, and then you could add more fuel back to it, and therefore create this, same power to keep you climbing at altitude. And that's what turbos are usually made.
But what about the gas?
The fuel, like the economy or the
Well, like the endurance. Like you got 100. Like you were saying, you can go. This actually increases the mileage somehow. Miles per gallon.
It does on this deal. I don't know what it would do on an aircraft because where you would normally have to lean the airplane out as you gain altitude. Actually, I know the answer to that. Engines have to run at a given air to fuel ratio, and normally that's under somewhat of a cruising speed. That's about 13.5 parts air to 1 part fuel. So if you go by that rule, you can determine through what they call a BSFC, a brake specific fuel consumption. You can figure out how much power the airplane makes per volume of fuel it's burning.
Wait, 13 to 1. 13. So no wonder it gets high.
Yeah, and you have to lean it out. As you get higher and higher and your oxygen depletes, you have to lean the fuel out. You have to, reduce the.
Still trying to get to 13 to 1.
Yeah, so it always has to maintain that. And a lot of times airplanes, from what I see, have exhaust temperature gauges, and you just keep them to 1,100 degrees or whatever. You just maintain that. You don't run them any hotter or any cooler. But but a turbocharger would basically compensate for the loss of altitude by supercharging more air into the engine. So your economy would still probably stay about the same, but your power would be much greater at that altitude. So the plane could either go faster or climb higher. You would notice.
Climb higher is good.
Yeah.
Go to 20. But now here's the thing. Here's the thing that nobody knows, or at least I didn't know, is the turbocharger here. And then it's got the cooling and so forth, and it's going back around. What's this thing?
Just the air filter.
Air filter. So this thing here, now one thing people don't know is how simple. Where is the turbocharger over here? You got one?
Yeah. You can go back in there to that counter.
Is it this counter or this one? This one. Yeah. So here's a turbocharger. So most people don't know how simple it is in a sense. Is this one or where?
That's one.
Which one are we looking at? Oh, this one, yeah.
Pretty much any of them.
So it's the exhaust drives
the turbine. Your exhaust enters here through the scroll, impacts the turbine wheel, which spins it, transfers energy through a shaft to your compressor. Which
and this catches air, like you said, and gets it real fast and pulls it in, compresses it.
Supercharges it out to the engine.
Right. And it's kind of simple.
It is.
In a way.
It has to be because this piece lives, this temperature here is between 1,000 to 1,500 degrees. You've got oil that runs through it to lubricate it, and in the case of this one, you have water that runs through it to cool it. This turbo at full operational output spins around 220,000 RPM. So 220,000 revolutions per minute. So they're balanced to within, hundredths of a gram. The bearing tolerances are kept very, very stringent, but they have to be simple because they live in such a harsh environment. If they were complicated, they'd be failures.
Right. We're just a rotating. Now this goes on a car.
Correct.
So. And it could also, something this big might also go on a plane, right?
That's correct. And,
it's not that big.
I just sent some off that came on some Rotaxes that I don't have any more of them here for the little military drone aircraft, the unmanned aircraft. We rebuilt those turbos for a testing company out of Ohio, and they're a little bit smaller than that.